Have you ever woken up from a vivid dream only to discover your body had a physical reaction that you had absolutely no control over? For generations, this phenomenon has been wrapped in mystery, cultural myths, and unnecessary embarrassment. Many people suffer in silence, believing something is wrong with their bodies. But today, we are stripping away the stigma and diving straight into the incredible, evidence-based biology of your body at rest. Welcome to our deep dive on the science behind nocturnal emissions, wet dreams. I am thrilled to share the fascinating mechanisms your brain and spinal cord use to maintain your reproductive health while you sleep. But first, I want to hear from you. Have you ever wondered what exactly happens in your nervous system during sleep to trigger this involuntary reflex? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. According to extensive medical research, including data recognized by the National Institutes of Health and major U.S. probability surveys, nocturnal emissions are an entirely normal, healthy, and involuntary part of human physiology. While many people associate this strictly with male puberty, adults frequently experience them as well. And surprise, women experience sleep orgasms too. Let's explore the evidence-based medical science behind why your body does this. What are nocturnal emissions? A nocturnal emission, commonly known as a wet dream, is an involuntary ejaculation or sexual climax that occurs during sleep. For a long time, people believed this was just the body's psychological way of releasing built-up sexual tension or frustrated desires. However, modern scientific evidence tells us a much more fascinating story. Nocturnal emissions are deeply connected to the architecture of human sleep, specifically the rapid eye movement, or REM stage. Human sleep is a highly organized physiological state, regulated by the dynamic interaction of homeostatic sleep pressure and your intrinsic circadian pacemaker. During REM sleep, your brain is highly active, and this is the phase where you experience your most vivid dreams. While your skeletal muscles are temporarily paralyzed to prevent you from acting out your dreams, a mechanism called REM atonia, your autonomic nervous system is hard at work. This is the system that controls things you don't have to consciously think about, like your heartbeat, digestion, and nighttime arousal. The physiology. How it happens. To understand wet dreams, we have to look at how your nervous system regulates arousal during the night. Genital arousal during sleep is completely involuntary and is initially driven by the parasympathetic nervous system. During REM sleep, this system triggers the release of a chemical called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide relaxes the smooth muscles in the blood vessels of your pelvic region, allowing a massive surge of oxygen-rich blood flow. In men, this leads to nocturnal penile tumescence, colloquially known as morning wood. These healthy, sleep-related erections occur 3 to 5 times a night, lasting 30 to 40 minutes per episode, and are completely independent of erotic dream content. But how does this lead to an actual emission? Ejaculation itself is a reflex. It is controlled by a specific cluster of neurons in the lumbar region of your spinal cord, scientifically known as the spinal ejaculatory generator. When nighttime stimulation, whether from physical friction against your sheets, hormonal peaks, or vivid dream content, reaches a certain threshold, these spinal neurons activate. This triggers a shift to the sympathetic nervous system, causing the pelvic floor muscles to rhythmically contract and forcefully expel semen through the urethra. This entire complex process can happen seamlessly without you ever waking up. Does it happen to women? One of the biggest misconceptions in sexual health is that wet dreams only happen to men. That is entirely false. Research, including a major U.S. probability survey published in the Archives of Sexual Behavior, indicates that roughly 30% to 40% of women have reported experiencing an orgasm in their sleep. Just as men experience nocturnal erections, healthy women experience nocturnal clitoral tumescence during REM sleep. Because the clitoris and the penis share homologous embryological origins, they respond to the same autonomic nerve signals. This involves the engorgement of the clitoris and vaginal tissues with oxygen-rich blood, leading to increased vaginal lubrication and heightened sensitivity. These episodes also occur 3 to 5 times a night. Hormonal fluctuations, such as shifting estrogen levels during the menstrual cycle or peaking testosterone, can make the female body highly responsive to this natural nocturnal arousal. The evolutionary and health benefits. You might be wondering, what is the biological purpose of all this? Why does the body expend energy on this while we sleep? In the medical community, nocturnal arousal is viewed as a vital indicator of your overall vascular and neurological health. These involuntary sleep responses serve as a biological workout, maintaining the elasticity of erectile tissues by bringing in oxygen-rich blood during the night. Furthermore, from an evolutionary standpoint, nocturnal emissions serve as a natural physiological clearing mechanism. Evidence shows that ejaculates produced by nocturnal emissions contain highly motile, fresh, and morphologically normal sperm. In fact, clinical studies comparing semen retrieval methods show that the sperm quality from a natural nocturnal emission is often superior to semen retrieved through clinical artificial methods. It is your body's brilliant, built-in way of removing aging, senescent sperm and maintaining optimal reproductive vitality when it causes distress. While nocturnal emissions are completely normal, there are rare instances where they intersect with medical or psychological conditions that require a doctor's attention. For example, some individuals experience a condition researchers refer to as long-term nocturnal emission, or LTNE. This is characterized by an abnormally high frequency of nocturnal emissions that persist for months or years. It can lead to profound daytime fatigue, lower back pain, and severe anxiety. Researchers believe this may be linked to the abnormal secretion of serotonin, a neurotransmitter that regulates both your sleep cycle and your ejaculatory threshold, and it can sometimes be treated with targeted medications like SSRIs. Additionally, the psychological distress surrounding this perfectly natural phenomenon can be severe. In some cultures, particularly in South Asia, there is a recognized psychiatric condition called DAT syndrome. Men with DAT syndrome experience severe anxiety, fatigue, and depression due to the culturally rooted false belief that losing semen through wet dreams is draining their body of a vital life force. This highlights exactly why evidence-based health education is so crucial. Understanding that semen loss during sleep is a harmless, healthy biological function can completely eliminate this psychological distress. So, the next time you or someone you know experiences a nocturnal emission, remember, it is not a sign of abnormality, and it is certainly not something to feel ashamed of. It is a seamless, beautiful orchestration of your brain, hormones, and spinal reflexes working together in the background while you sleep. It is simply your body's way of maintaining healthy blood flow, tissue oxygenation, and long-term reproductive vitality. Thank you for tuning in to this deep dive into the human body. If you found this medical explanation helpful, please like, subscribe, and drop your questions in the comments below. Remember, prioritizing your health means understanding your body without shame. Stay healthy, and I will see you in the next video.